Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Marcus Aurelius, and this is Total War Attila, the Eastern Roman Empire, and History. And I'm coming back to this series because a few people, when the series officially ended, wanted to see what would happen when I was done with the series, when the series was almost over. And you are witnessing that right here in front of you. The Eastern Romans, now really the Romans, have reconquered all of Italy, southern Gaul, all of Dacia, Arabia Magna. We're moving around Arabia Felix. We have all of Osrhoene and Asoristan. We have Ctesiphon. And we have most of the Caucasus, although we are moving currently on the province of Caucasia and the region Gabala, which has been taken over by Iran. The Western Romans have been relegated to parts of Spain and Western North Africa. We have not fought against them because they are our brothers, and so we are allowing that, although it is preventing us from earning the highest level victory. As you can see, money is not our problem. We started taking advantage of the Eastern Roman tax ability, or I should say trade ability, that gives you a percentage interest ability is what I'm trying to say. It gives you percentage interest to your current treasury, so money is definitely not a problem. Another reason why I wanted to come back to the series was because I wanted to discuss the history that takes place between where we ended this series and where this game itself aptly ends in 450 AD with the death of Theodosius II in the East, and quickly go over what happened between that time and Justinian, because in the next series on The Last Roman, which, by the way, in case anyone's waiting for that one, is still a ways away. I have read all of Procopius up to the Vandal Wars, and I'm in the middle of that, and then after that we have the Ostrogoth Wars, and then we have, of course, the Secret History. So before I even start that series, I want to be pretty well versed on what took place during that time. But for right now, I just want to get you up to that point. So that way, if someone in the future decides to watch multiple of my series in a row, there's not a big gap of 200 years between the series. It all kind of flows through. So the last thing is, I wanted to show off a really cool Roman unit reskin mod by two people on the Steam forums named Great Black Jaguar and Andrew Boyarski. And it's just called Reskin Romans. It's not an amazing title, but it really is a cool reskin. And I wanted to show you some of the late game units as well of the Romans, like you can see here, such as the Tagmata Cavalry, and I don't know if you saw the Klebinari, and also the Heterea, and our new spearmen, the Eastern Auxilia Palatina, as well as the Numeroi, which I may have had a couple of in the series, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, and you can be upgraded. Fantastic. So that's the plan. That's the purpose of this. The game does end at 448, and that's unfortunate for me because I'm not really close to the Divine Triumph, which requires that you have 120 settlements under your control by the 450 of spring, and I only have 83. Also, you have to have 40 different factions defeated, and we only have 37. Now, if the game would allow me to continue on forever, I could easily achieve this, but right now, I guess we're shooting for a cultural and military victory. Military, though, we might not get, because that also requires 20 different factions and 90 settlements. So we may only have to settle for the cultural victory, which is a shame. Yeah, we've met all the requirements for that. Another thing that kind of bums me out is that I'll never be able to completely fill the tech tree. I've filled the entire civic tech tree, which means I've gotten rid of the aqueducts and all that, which makes the game really hard. But I had this one period where I was scrambling to build aqueduct networks in every province that I could. So now only the new provinces that I'm recently capturing can't have it, and you just have to deal with that by not producing buildings that lower sanitation in those provinces. It's very difficult, but doable. But I did get this whole area, except for finally the last one, which gives you the Imperial Palace, which I think is really annoying because there's been an Imperial Palace in Constantinople from day one, since when Constantine built it. So I can't imagine that you'd have to wait all through the tech tree to get it, but we're probably not going to get that. And as far as the military, we're never going to see the Magister Militum, which again is stupid because they had those from day one. You didn't have to research them. But that kind of bothers me. I'm sad that there wasn't enough time that the game gives you to get all the research texts. And of course, that was my play style as well. If I had built a lot of churches and those monk retreats that increase research, then this wouldn't be a problem. But I didn't do that because, again, that would have required me to lose access to my sanitation buildings. So I think the game really kind of screws you when you're the Eastern Romans by forcing you to give up wealth and happiness in the form of sanitation and what it allows for research and religion. But that's just me talking, and this is probably going to drag out now into 2 episodes because I'm wasting time. So let's just look through what's going on here. Let's see if there's a battle we can fight. First of all, I have a really great spy here. I just want to find someone I could pick a fight with. We're currently at peace with a lot of people. I think I have an army ready to go here in Iran. Actually, it looks like they are not ready to go. They're actually out of movement. The Kings of Axum are still around. They're incredibly powerful. Oh, one other thing you might note is that I've built the highest level armory and weapon blacksmith shop so that all of my troops have armor smithing 2 and shield crafting 2, in addition to... Maybe these guys haven't had their weapons upgraded, but some other legions have. Like here in Sirmium, we have the weaponsmith, which actually can be upgraded one more time, but where you don't have the happiness for it, I have to wait till these 2 Pannonian districts that I had to rebuild from scratch. I have to wait till we have enough population to make better things on them. As you can see, I got up an aqueduct network and a thermi. I've discovered that you really need both of these things to have enough sanitation to do what you need to do. And then in Salona, we have the Royal Armory, which is the highest level armory. So I try to pass my units through both of these. And then down here in Rome, we have the Siege Workshop, which not only gives you access to siege engines, but also improves your ranged units. So that's pretty great too. Now you'll notice I have a lot of things that could be upgraded, but I have not upgraded them. The reason why is because, again, you have to stick within your food limits, and upgrading your city sometimes will put you above the food limit, which will lower happiness. So sometimes, I know for someone like partially OCD like me, it drives me crazy to know that I have money and I can upgrade things, but I have to just choose not to, simply because there's not enough food, and it'll cause more problems than it will solve. So these guys are just sitting around. Nothing I need them for, though. Okay, so we're currently sieging Zafar, and we might be able to take them next turn.
Lay siege to the settlement.
Yeah, so we have to continue the siege. So next turn, we'll be able to fight in that battle, and I can talk about history. And I think that's about it for our armies. Fulminata is just hanging out here in Apulium. We've rebuilt all of Dacia.
Hunger for battle.
These guys are armor smithing 3 and weaponsmithing 2, so they're maxed out. They're here in Savaria. And I guess, okay, we'll end the turn. So that way we can get to the battles, and I can talk a little bit about the history and show you these really cool units that, again, have been put together in the Reskin Romans mod by Great Black Jaguar and Andrew Boyarsky. So the history that I'm going to talk about is going to start in the year 450 with the death of Theodosius II. If you'll recall about my discussions regarding Theodosius II, he had a sister by the name of Pulcheria, who was very involved in the court and the politics, and we will be speaking about her a little bit more soon. I've been trying to get the Western Romans to ally with me, but they just simply refused to do it. There was actually some pretty amazing battles. The Western Romans declared war on me, and they attacked with full stacks in North Africa, and each time I was able to fight them off and just destroy them. It was quite beautiful. Iran wants peace. No, Iran. There will be no peace. There will only be your death. It is better than you deserve. Most of the Persian satrapies have wisely decided to leave me alone. They've witnessed what I've been doing. Okay, we have Gaul here. They will ask me for 9,000 for a non-aggression pact. Oh, by the way, Marcus Lucilius Murena is the emperor now. He's age 39. And no, screw you, Gaul. My money's my money. Alright, here we go. So let's fight some battles. Matter of state. The boy taken as a hostage at an early age has adopted our way of life. He is an excellent horseman and excels with bow and arrow. What do you wish to do with him? I don't know. What shall we do? Is he a Hun? I guess he's a Hun. We can accept him. We could take him hostage. We can return him to his family. Or do nothing. I will accept him. Let's see. How's the family going here? As you can see, Marcus Murena has 3 natural-born sons, but they will not reach adulthood before the end of this campaign, and we also adopted 2 powerful and influential generals. Our control is lagging. We are at 40%. Our dominion is right about half, and our power is balanced. Or it's just balanced, which is good, because you start losing public order past that. Alright, let's fight these battles. So Iran wants peace, huh?
At your command.
Let's show them peace.
Laying siege to the settlement.
Now, personally, I hate fighting attack battles in the battlefield, but we're easily going to crush them, and it will give me an opportunity to speak about the history. So after the death of Theodosius II, Pulcheria married a general by the name of Marcian, and that made Marcian the emperor. But one of the rules that Pulcheria made when she married him was that she had taken a vow of perpetual virginity, so he was not allowed to get it on with her, and that also meant that he was not allowed to have any heirs. But he presumably accepted this. Marcian, by all accounts, was a pretty decent emperor. He stopped paying off Attila, which didn't harm the East at all because Attila was already within plans to attack the West. He reformed the finances of the empire, and he also called the Council of Chalcedon, which is a big deal if you're a Christian because it defined the Christian religion for the next 2,000 years. I mean, we're still under the Council of Chalcedon today. It's accepted in whole by the Catholics and the Orthodox and by most Protestants. There are a few Eastern religions that don't accept it, but they are few and far between. Let's start deployment. And as a result of him doing that, leading this Council of Chalcedon, both he and Pulcheria were sainted by the church. The one negative thing about Marcian was that he basically let the West alone. He didn't help them at all, he didn't do anything for them, and probably as a result hastened their fall. So let's take a look at these units, because they are beautiful. So this is the Eastern Auxilia Palatina, the highest level spearmen. And I will say, first of all, that in terms of realism, I understand that these uniforms are quote-unquote realistic. However, they are probably realistic for the more wealthy senior members of the units. And the fact that all of the men in every unit have, like, gold is probably not historical. But I still think it looks amazingly beautiful. And I know these aren't just made up. They're based on, you know, images in those war books. But they look pretty cool. Let's see if I can find somebody else here. The Numeroi. Well, they're kind of hiding in the grass. Let's look at these guys. There we go. So the Numeroi, look at how beautiful they are with their shields and their purple cloaks, which I don't know if they wore purple cloaks, but still looks really cool. Got the helmets. Again, you've got a lot of bronze and silver scale. Then these are the Eastern Armored Legio. You can see that their shields are more oval. Is that the general right there with the sword? Or they all have... Oh yeah, they all have swords. They're the Legio. So the same kind of thing. You've got the kind of scale here, but you've also got what looks like mail on these guys. And my guess is if they actually did go into battle with mail of this color, it wasn't because it was actually made out of bronze or gold, but rather it was colored. Painted. Alright, what else do we got? The Protectores Domestici. What I love about these guys is their shields. I mean, just look at those beautiful designs on the shields of the different saints and warriors, angels. They're pretty awesome. I like the variety, different choices. The Hetaeria. Well, you can't really see them because they're also hiding in the grass. We'll see them later. Here are the Armored Sagittari. Really, you're hiding in the grass too? There they are. So again, just looking really beautiful. Like, again, the Eastern Romans could not afford to outfit their entire army, including their archers, in this amazing mail. But there probably were some members in elite archer companies who did wear this. And especially the infantry, there were elite companies who did as well. The Tagmata, by comparison, look pretty basic. They have these little shields, and they have an unpainted, kind of boring armor. But the Klebinari, the predecessors of the Cataphracts, they look pretty good. They've got the full face coverings, the Hannibal Lecter masks, and you've got the full horse barding, which is really awesome too. The arms look a little fat on these guys, actually. Let's see them from the side here. Looks like they're wearing some kind of segmented steel plating, which I don't know how realistic that is necessarily, but pretty cool indeed. And then I guess we'll take a look at our generals unit too. At this point, they are the Comes. They are not the Magister Militum yet. They still look pretty good though. They've got really awesome shields and great armor. So that's the Roman reskin by Great Black Jaguar and Andrew Boyarsky. I think out of all of the Eastern Roman reskins that I saw, that's definitely one of the finest. So where are we going to deploy? I guess this is the way up. It's a terrible way up, but it's the one we have, and we're highly outnumbering them. So let's just put up our Armored Legio, backed up by our Numeroi. And that should actually do it for us. So we're going to go up. We do have the towers firing against us, but this way we're coming into the city from the back. We'll avoid the worst of it. In fact, it'll avoid all of it. You know what? We'll move our Hetaeria up so you can see them better. And we should probably move the general up. Oh, look, they're charging at us. Really? And they're being attacked by our siege engines. That's amazing. And now they're hiding in the grass. I kind of don't want our siege engines firing here. Let's hold it, guys. Let's let our infantry take care of this. So, after Marcian died, and he didn't rule for very long, the Germanic general, basically the general in charge of all the Eastern Roman armies, his name was Aspar, and he was quite powerful. He needed an emperor who he could consider a puppet, who he can rule through. Aspar himself couldn't become the emperor because he was a barbarian, and the people would just never allow that. But he had substantial military power, and he wanted to rule through a puppet emperor. So he chose one of his staff officers, a gentleman by the name of Leo. And Leo became the Emperor Leo I. And now we're going to crush. I mean, you got to give them points. I mean, they're brave. They're getting hit by our archers. We should probably tell them not to do that. Oh, didn't want to do that, but whatevs. Okay. You're very brave, Wherein, but this will be the end of you. Will be the end of you. So, Leo was a lot stronger than Aspar expected. What? Who are these guys? Persian nobles? Well, not for long. Oh, there's our Hetaeria. We'll take a look at them. They're throwing axes. That is pretty awesome, actually. To be honest, I'm not entirely impressed with the Hetaeria. They don't survive as long on the battlefield as our legios. The Hetarea cavalry are just terrible. So anyways, let's watch the battle, and I'll talk more about Leo. So Leo, what he did, and it was very smart, he invited a group of rowdy Isaurians. Now, the Isaurians were Romans, but they were a wild and unruly bunch of tribal Romans from the southeast part of Anatolia, the Tarsus Mountains, and he invited them to come to the capital as kind of a counterweight to Aspar and his barbarian troops. Aspar, I believe, was an Alan. And so eventually he was able to kind of minimize the power of Aspar and the barbarians by playing them off these Isaurians. And this will have a role to play in the history coming soon. Now, one thing that happened that was really bad during the reign of Leo is Leo was ready to engage with the West in a way that Marcian was not, and so he allowed for a joint naval expedition against the Vandals, who you remember in our series took over Carthage and North Africa, Libya, the province. So there was this giant expedition by both the East and West, which was a complete failure and almost bankrupted the Eastern Empire. We're going to occupy.
At your command.
Let's fix everything up here. And now we have the whole province, and it should be pretty happy. We can upgrade our church to a Greek cathedral. Why not? Now, I have to watch out about the governor's estate, though. A lot of times I could remove it to the governor's palace, but the food consumption is just too high. I think in this province that's especially true, because right now we're out of food, and we're losing 18 public order as a result. So we need... Yeah, we're just completely out of food. Mishteka is costing us 100 food. So we are currently building... Well, we have a level 4 cattle farm here. We're going to have to build more farms here, obviously. We do have a food emporium, but it's not enough. So we're going to have to figure something out. We might have to lower down the city to level 2 city, lower down the governor's estate now that the church is taking up the slack in terms of public order. There's a few options that we have that I might want to explore. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all the time we have. So next episode, we're going to continue speaking about Leo. We are going to attack Zafar with our Roman troops down here. And hopefully we'll cover the gap between Leo and Justinian. So once again, I'm Marcus Aurelius. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. This is Total War Attila, the Eastern Roman Empire and history. Have a good one.